Hello ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to my channel for another Hot Toys Summer Showcase figure preview video. Now before we begin, I, as always, have to say a huge thank you to Ryan Kirkwood for going out in person and snapping these stunning high-res pics. Show Ryan some love in the comments below, because without him, this series literally wouldn't be possible. Now, if you are looking to pre-order your very own friendly neighborhood Spider-Man, he is available from toyswonderland.com. Link for that is in the description below. They have 12-month installment plans and a points-based reward system. Now, as promised in the advanced figure preview video that we did for this very Spidey, they put him up for pre-order and they added a bunch of stuff. So here is a new and improved preview video. He does come with the full array of Spidey hands as you would expect, and he does come in three different flavors. You can get the normal version, you can also get the deluxe version with the Sandman display base, or you can get the deluxe special edition version that comes with a Doc Ock tentacle. Is the Doc Ock tentacle 100% required here? No, I don't really think it is, but that decision is going to be all down to you. Interestingly, for the thwipping hands, they haven't gone with the swap-out palm piece that you attach the web into, that they've been doing for more modern Spidey figures. Which begs the question, how is the web going to attach to his wrist? Fingers crossed it's not like the Spider-Man 3 original where you had these weird little metal discs that you plug the webs into. We will have to wait and see when this guy eventually gets released. You also get a separate mask with the black lens surrounds, and yes, now that I've been told in the comments section of the previous video, I know that in No Way Home, his lens surrounds were black, whereas in the Raimi films they were gunmetal. Here is a little preview image of the special edition Doc Ock's tentacle, and don't worry, you will see it IRL when we pan up in just a second. You also get a little street sign or a piece of rubble that you can just pop in or around the Sandman display base. Is it an essential piece? No, but I kinda like it. Speaking of liking it though, this is the Tobey Maguire head sculpt, and I reckon it looks incredible. The likeness is on point, the skin texture is great, it is accurate to the older version of Tobey that we got in No Way Home. Plus, he does have a full neck with a little bit of the suit down below. Now, this looks really good here, and I love it with the Andrew figure as well, but now it leaves the integrated suit in a bit of an awkward spot. Because when you have the Tom Holland head sculpt displayed on that figure, the neck is all suited. This, in my mind, is the absolute best way of doing it. Have the swap out piece so you can have the skin tone neck. It's accurate to the movie. It's just the right way of getting it done. But some people also don't like the seam line that's introduced because that neck piece does swap out. And you will once again see that in a moment. The Sandman display base, though, is huge. This is even bigger than the already existing Sandman display base that came with the black suit Spidey. Which one do I like better? Well, it's relatively simple. This one. I think it looks way better. There's a ton more texture to the sand. It's really nicely painted. You can see Flint's head, plus it's open around the back where you can have Spidey swinging or crawling around. There's scaffolding, and there is a hand on the right side. You can also see some rocks in there and a dynamic flight pole. So Spidey can be either posed up on it, he can be inside around the back, or swing around. Like I said, there are a ton of different options here. Can you potentially use this as a Sandman in your display? Well, you kind of don't have much of an option, because this is what Hot Toys are giving us to represent Sandman. Just like their lizard display base, I don't reckon they're going to make a full figure. Now, the Doc Ock tentacle does have the accurate yellow stripe down the back spine, and it is fully articulated and bendable. As for Spidey himself, the red sections, I'm pleased to report, are yes, all fabric. The detail work for the texture is printed on the surface, but it's not 3D and raised. But the web lines are. They're gunmetal, they're suitably metallic, they look really good. One thing that might upset some people though is that the blue sections aren't fabric. They're all that screen printed rubbery material. They look a little bit more metallic and reflective. I like the way they look, but I totally understand. It's not 100% accurate. Most people did want this to be all fabric like the Spider-Man 3 original. I tend to agree. I would have preferred all fabric too. It's the best option for posability, and it's not going to crack or crease or stick to itself over time. But I do like the color of the blue here. It's a nice, deep, rich royal blue, and the brick pattern on the surface looks almost perfect. The only issue is just that it shouldn't really be screen printed, it should just be printed on the surface of some real fabric. Now, there are a couple of reasons as to maybe why they did this. Number one, the musculature for the suit is bonded to the blue sections. There isn't a ton of musculature for the red sections, that could just be the hard plastic body. Whereas for the blue sections, it's the legs, it's the biceps, and it's the sides of the torso. Maybe that's why they wanted to do some gel padding, and with the material it simply wasn't possible. Or maybe it's for longevity, not in the way that you might think though. With the original, the blue sections were the first to fade. They got really dim, they almost started to look pink. They didn't want that happening with this guy, so they went with the rubbery material. It looks better, it has the same texture, but it's not going to fade like fabric. Then again, they might have just done it because they wanted it to look more modern. It's all down to what Hot Toys were thinking when they made this prototype. We won't really ever know that. I like the way it looks, but if you don't, please weigh in down below. Now, as I said earlier, you can see that seam line around his neck. It's not the best thing in the world, but it's also not the worst because it does sit where one of those web lines are. If you pull down and futz with the suit, I reckon it's going to be far less obvious. This, however, is a little bit more obvious. It's the seam between the hand and the bodysuit. It's a slightly different color because the hand is painted whereas the suit is all fabric, and the wrists look really chunky. I'm not sure why they look that chunky. That's something they can absolutely fix with the final version. It could be because the suit is extending up underneath the hand itself. How does that work with the wrist peg? I've got no idea. It's something that I, myself, am very curious about. It's a nice seamless look, but only if they pull it off without making everything super chunky. Now, the head I like, but I don't love. I have two things that I want to discuss, and no, it's not the neck seam. We've already discussed that, I've gotten over it. My issue is that we have a stitched seam line underneath his chin and neck, and on the top of his head sculpt. It's in two separate places. You've got two visible seam lines. I don't think this was the best way of doing it. You could have had a separate head sculpt, just like we have with the Tom Holland suits. It would have looked better, the seam would have been underneath the chin, so you wouldn't have really seen it all that much anyway, plus it's something we are used to. And you wouldn't have had two seam lines. I do like the shape of the head sculpt. It looks like the face shell from the Raimi trilogy. It's nice and angular, and it's really sharp. But I am worried that if you have him looking up, the neck won't be actually glued to the suit itself, so it will look kind of sock-like and weird. If you don't know what I'm talking about, go ahead and check out my review for the original and you'll see exactly what I mean. I am hoping, I'm praying to the figure gods that it's a non-issue, but it's something that we will have to wait and see with the final product, as with most of the things that we've discussed in this video. I do like how posable this guy looks. The promo pics had him in some crazy wacky Spidey poses, and he does come with my favorite web line, which is the spooled up one. You'll know, yeah, that one makes me very happy. And overall, this figure makes me very happy. I'm a huge fan of the Raimi trilogy. I'm planning on picking up a couple of this guy, because if you just pick up this guy, the Green Goblin and Doc Ock, you're already on the way to building out a pretty good Raimi display. Maybe you've got two of these, one as your Spider-Man 1 version, one in Spider-Man 2 battling Doc Ock, and then the black suit for Spider-Man 3. Oh yes, that would be a stellar Raimi collection. Now you may be sitting there thinking, okay Justin, you very clearly really like it. Maybe you're biased because you like the Raimi films, but what about all the issues that you've already mentioned? Yes, they are definitely still there. If you do prefer a separate head sculpt without a bunch of seam lines and you want the blue sections to be all fabric, well, the Thunder Toys Spidey is significantly cheaper, it doesn't have any of those weird issues, and it's available now. I absolutely love the Thunder Toys figure. I don't think it deserves anywhere near the amount of hate it's getting, but at the same time, it's not official, and it's not from the No Way Home line. Plus, it doesn't come with anywhere near the same amount of accessories, nor does it come with the Tobey Maguire head sculpt. At the end of the day, this, in my mind, is the superior product, especially if you're getting the deluxe with the Sandman display base. The only complaint that I have is I kind of wish it also came with the standard base. Hot Toys, please. We all know bases aren't really that expensive if they're just the regular hexagonal ones. In the future, if you're doing a deluxe, include both bases. Now, if you are looking to pre-order any of the versions of this guy, he is available from toyswonderland.com. Link for that is in the description below. They have 12-month installment plans and a points-based reward system. While you're down there, why not hit that subscribe, bell notification icon, and join button if you like the sound of seeing your name in the end credits of my reviews. Like, comment, and subscribe, and we'll catch you in the next video.